This is New Eden, an anomaly even within the data break network. Ever since the dawn of aviation, mankind has looked to the skies with hopeful expectation of conquering the stars. Beyond the remnants of the shattered gate, a universe of impossible splendor lies among an endless sea of stars. These are the sounds of the cosmos, the sounds that echo through every corner of the universe. This is New Eden FM.
The sound of us on today. We haven't even been live for more than 15 minutes and already it's broken down. Hello, and welcome to New Eden FM, the radio show, your music, your voice, and your weekly update on all things Eve. And what a show we have for you on today. There's literally content everywhere, no matter what your definition of content is. This is Maestra in the studio alongside the enigmatic original copy of Alondria. How we doing, baby girl?
Oh, we are doing good, and I'm just reminded of a line from The Princess Bride when it comes to content, some people seem to not know what that word does not mean what they think it does. But that's okay, we love them anyway.
Do we?
We do. I mean, everybody's got their own way of playing the game, and everybody's got their opinion on whether or not those people are playing it right. But that's the way it goes,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's what the whole 2 weeks has been about, right? Whether people are playing the game the right way. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. And it's been an exciting week. I tell you what.
My goodness.
Friday night was really exciting. I'm sure we'll talk about that and the state of the war coming up.
No kidding. So on today's show, if you were waiting for the next wave of capital ships, guess what? The wait is over. New to the big ship lineup, Force Auxiliaries, and for those of you who still dream of being a proper New Eden trucker, jump freighters are now in the game. Additionally, we have the Blue and White Galaxy event going on until the 19th. This is New Eden News. Your state of the war is that it is officially over. Officially, unofficially, the war between Bro and Void, that is. We'll have more details for you later on in the show. Right now, by popular demand...
This is your weekly New Eden News.
This is, in fact, New Eden News. And, what is the thing that is on everyone's mind concerning what is actually happening within the game? Stuff that isn't player-made content, Miss Alondria. Capital ships. So, in a totally bombshell announcement, I believe it was Monday, the devs announced that they were going to be bringing in new capital ships. And I mean, literally, this wasn't something that people were kind of we had been waiting for, anticipating, or anything. No, they decided that they were just going to drop a bombshell on last Monday on the 26th. And in this update, we not only got the Force Auxiliary and the Jump Freighters, we also got logistics drones and advanced equipment skills, as well as a scanning device to spot Neelus space. So this patch dropped on the 29th, and for those of us that have not been busy with a war going on in void space or otherwise, I suppose that they've gotten an opportunity to do the content. Me, myself, I haven't gotten an opportunity to do the content because I've been so busy with war. But Miss Alondria, have you actually checked out the content, or have you been kind of, I suppose, doing your thing elsewhere? Because I know you do Alondria things.
I do a lot of Alondria things. I haven't had a chance to check out a lot of the new content. I really haven't. So I'm hoping to at some point.
Yeah, Yeah. So in addition to those particular ships and those particular things, we also got the Blue and White Galaxy, which is another event, and this one actually takes after Chinese traditional art, which I thought was one of the most creative things that they have actually done in the game since the game started. I love the Oriental themed music that you get when you are in the station, and it's pretty awesome. I just kind of wish that they had actually released nanocores for something other than just, you know, a couple of the ships, ships that have been crying for a little bit of love and support, such as the capital ships. It would have been kind of nice. Just my opinion. That's whatever.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
It would have
What
been.
can you do? We take we take what we can get with these guys, right? They finally put force auxiliaries in. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's everybody was wanting them. So I mean, at least that is something, right?
Well, it wasn't just that people wanted them, it was just that people kind of sort of needed them because there is no logi solution for capitals. So whenever you drop dreads, it's kind of like you drop dreads and it becomes a slugfest. Now, traditionally in EVE Online, dreadnoughts they're pretty much self-sufficient. They don't need a force auxiliary and they don't need a carrier to survive. But as you get into other ship classes, you will probably be wanting those force auxiliaries to offer you a little bit of help. And most of it, when it comes to dreadnoughts, has to do with how the siege modes work, or in this case, the showdown modes work. And they really don't need force auxiliaries, but it's good to have them. The only thing is, I'm a little bit concerned about the same thing that Benzi was talking about on Reddit, because by the way, the guy was pretty mad last week when it was dropped. It wasn't the Void War that was on his mind. He was actually just really disappointed about like what the devs are doing. So just to give you an idea where Benzi's head was at on last week, but it's going to make things really, 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 I want to say prolonged, because dreads traditionally can survive on their own, but with force auxiliaries, it's going to be like, well, how do you break the damn things?
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of it is a slugfest, but it's also a matter of strategy.
Very true.
Can you separate, target the force auxiliaries? It adds a whole nother layer to the content.
Absolutely. By the patch notes, the official term force auxiliaries are a type of carrier especially suited for large-scale battles, usually used in to repair major allied capital and subcapital ships. They play an important role in logistics and repair, combat support, and field command in battles. In addition to using the capital remote repair modules, force auxiliaries also use replace the fighter base for large drone bays. They make use of a special electronic interface to control super heavy logistics drones. Why we needed super heavy logistics drones, all that needs to be phrased there. Of course, super heavy logistics drones. Do we have any other type of logistics drones in the game? I don't know, you tell me. But anyway, they can activate logistics support mode to reroute power from their defense and maneuverability systems to support system greatly increases, or to the support system greatly increasing their capabilities in providing logistics support.
Located here.
So how do you obtain those? Reverse engineer force auxiliary and carrier reps and manufacture using capital ship components. Now, all of a sudden, I'm feeling kind of bad that my corporation, we sold a tremendous number of carrier debris, because we had collected everything that we needed, right, out of our space before this war started, and so on and so forth. So we took so many of them, and we basically scrapped them to turn them into materials we were going to need in order to make rigs and stuff, only to have this dropped on us. So now we have to completely restock ourselves on carrier debris. Pretty sure that I'm not the only person that's in that situation. So
yeah.
Yep. So, as far as the patch notes are concerned, they get into a little bit more of the specifics on how the Force Auxiliary ships are going to work or how they work. And I will just make this really, really, really simple for those of you guys that haven't actually looked at them yet. One of the Force Auxiliary ships in each of the categories, shield or armor, one of them excels at using actual reps and the other excels at using drones. That is the easiest way to just, to pretty much like wash that one. Now the logistics drones, I think that's actually really cool. There are logistics drones in EVE Online. I believe we do have multi-size drones in EVE Online, but now we do have these drones, at least the super heavy maintenance drones for the Force Auxiliaries. So I mean, I guess it depends on how you really like to look at it. It's kind of cool, but I don't really know. I mean, it's gonna be fun. It is going to be a game changer, especially for those of us that are war heavy in terms of like alliance structures. Pirate alliances like No, and of course Burr are going to want to get themselves into Force Auxiliaries as quickly as possible. Mel is already trying to figure out how to get his Logi pilots into Force Auxiliary ships. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this one goes, but I do agree with what Benzie said on Reddit earlier in the week. We need to have a pass and a revisit on the subcap ships, otherwise this is just going to turn into well, it's not going to necessarily be engaging or fun warfare. And I am checking out the comments in the Sound of Us. I'm going to take a moment to check these comments. Daroka will have to get you updated. Just let us know what your new group is, and if you're unaffiliated, we'll just remove your tags and it'll be fine. And what Ross was saying, I thought that Dreads can't get reps in the mode. I'm gonna have to look at it again. I'm not sure how it works in EVE Echoes, but in EVE Online they can't. In EVE Online they most certainly can't. I believe that Charizard did respond to that, but in EVE Online they can. So that might need to be rebalanced. Because I can tell you right now, if you put a Force Auxiliary on a Dreadnought, good luck breaking it. Unless you get to the Force Auxiliary first. Super heavy are good. Large Logi drones are ass. Okay. Have you gotten an opportunity to test that? Because I would really be interested in pulling someone into the studio who has a little bit of experience in the content as of last week, because like I said, I have been busy warmongering, and so I haven't had an opportunity to really kind of like sit there and run numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been busy with doing a laundry of things and working on building up a coalition. We're just busy. It's whenever you're playing the game of Discord, it can be hard to get into the new stuff as soon as it comes out in the game. Sometimes it takes you a week to get around to it.
You're gonna have to explain to me how on earth you managed to build a coalition so fast, but we can talk about that during the EVE Talk segment. Space Scan is the way that I believe we are getting more of these goodies, and the patch announcement is, with the support strategy program comes the Space Scan feature. Activate Space Scan to discover Neela space. You can use Space Scan as long as your pirate detection array is level 3 or above. So for those of us that don't have those, including myself in Bell, we have to work on getting the pirate detection array up to level 3. The Kleinwell of this type of Neela space broadcasts an unknown signal across region continuously. All Capsuleers can see the Kleinwells in their region on the star map without scanning for them. You can disable the Kleinwell displays in the star map settings, and in addition, these Kleinwells are highly stable and won't collapse even when capital ships pass through them. So, I mean, capital content Neela space finally.
Finally, yeah. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of shiny kill mills. People just randomly going in them with a capital ship with questionable fittings, and I'm sure there are people just going into those things just looking for those.
It's gonna hurt so badly. Like it takes me back to some of those times when I teamed up with Wax. And as you guys know, Wax does yeet capital ships if you're not paying attention. And we went in when we were trying to do the capital uh, the capital dormants. We were trying to figure out how we could get them done efficiently past level 7. And the dude was like, he got to this point where he was like literally just going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and we were all sitting there, and I'm like screaming in comms, dude, don't lose the morals while I'm here and fleet with you. Don't lose the morals while I'm here and fleet with you. So yeah, I mean, there are going to be some people that are going to lose some capitals trying to get this thing done, and people probably getting ganked because the it's not going to collapse. The space is not going to collapse, so you're not going to have your capital ship just spit out on the other side if it takes too long for the opposing forces to kill it. They're going to have as much time as they need to kill the damn things according to these notes. So you probably want to go in there not only with good fittings, but you also want to go in with enough support. So if you get jumped on by other people, then you can do something about it. Just my 2 cents. But crabs are gonna crab. Sorry, Knox. And you can't really do anything about people that are just gonna run in and eat anyways.
Well, this is true, but of course, you've got people who, crabbers are going to crab, but then you got the guys who in Red Sea, those are the king crabs. Those are the professional crabbers.
Yeah, they're the professional crabs.
I'm curious I'm wondering what they think about these fine whales, and I bet you they're carriers as they go in there. Or
they've probably already done it.
Fit.
They've probably already done it. I'm willing to bet that they've already done it. While we were fighting Void and stuff, they were already figuring out how they were going to do this, and it's been less than 7 days. So the crabs have it, but you have to remember Red Sea are professional crabs, and they don't exactly have a habit of losing capital ships. So is tripping out? Is everyone having problems with Hyderabad at the moment? I'm just gonna pause for a moment there.
I think Roz is on it. Pumped up the volume on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. And even with a lift, it would be better to have a drone speed mod and send supers. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun while people work out doctrines and stuff like that. And of course, like I said, Noah and Burr tend to be on the cutting edge of this type of thing. I'm pretty sure that Silent is also trying to figure out how they're going to get their hands on it. And once they do have their hands on it, how they're going to build a doctrine around it. So for those of you that really want to kill Silent, Santiago, you might want to get a jump on that before they have the faxes. Advanced capital ship modules. As the space scan has been made available, pilots can now obtain advanced capital ship modules meta level 11 from the unknown Neela space. Currently discovered modules include lasers, railguns, cannons, missiles, fire control arrays, shield boosters, armor repairs, remote shield boosters, remote armor repairs, capacitor batteries, afterburners, warp drives, and shield extenders, as well as armor platings. Thank goodness. I was wondering how long we're gonna have to wait to get those, and apparently we have them. And you can also we can also now reprocess the modules. So I suppose that's something that probably needed to be done some time ago, but it's really good. That's great. There's also a module invention specialization. I'm not sure how many people are going to want to invest in that, but theoretically we're going to need at least some. According to this, it is to increase the overall combat capability of the New Eden pilots. So it's the use of a new skill, the module invention specialization, to increase. Personally speaking, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief when I realized that they were not going to. You know how when the Oracle came out, they basically made it 100% separate from the Orca, and both of them just took really ridiculous skill point investments. The thing is, in EVE Online, the Oracle is basically on the same general tree, as the Orca. So a person who wants to become a Rorical pilot technically has to travel through the skills of the Orca in order to get to the Rorical. So if you want to do that, you can get yourself an Orca until you can get the skills necessary for a Rorical. Well, they didn't exactly do that, and it made a very painful experience for our industry pilots in New Eden Pocket Edition. However, for this particular thing,
Industrial penetration.
it was industrial
Industrial
penetration.
penetration.
Yes, yes, yes. It was not only industrial penetration; it was the rough kind. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, uh-huh. So, for this one, they kind of didn't do the same thing. Force auxiliary, super carriers, and of course, carriers are all on the same general skill tree in EVE Online. And even though they don't have a force auxiliary skill, I thought that it was rather fair that they only put in a force auxiliary command skill. You are you are still going to depend upon your carrier skills for engineering and for defense, but you'll need the repairer skills, you will need the drone skills for it, and you will need the command skills to make your ships function the way that they're supposed to. So maybe they learned a little something when they implemented the Orca and the Rorqual, and they decided not to do the exact same thing. Or maybe they didn't. Either way, when or if we ever get super carriers, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting how they implement because they never implement it like we think.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, I see you guys typing in the sound of us. If any of you would like to, I guess, share your experiences with the content this past week, you're more than welcome.
They definitely have some industrial prowess over there, but there
Mhm.
are some other good industries that are, especially one since this is something that everybody has already got some of the skills produced. Interested, everybody's not starting at ground zero.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the capital ship productions and everything like that. People have already invested skill points. You have to raise new skills, not on the horrific baseline you had to get. It was a serious industrial penetration on the number of SP that are required to effectively build. I mean, to actually be able to build them and them. Oh my gosh, you got to have 100 million skill points at least.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. Nightmares just like watching people stare at a screen while they just tap that button over and over and over again. So I don't personally like gambling, but for those of you that do, the Implant Lucky Chest is available in the New Eden store for a limited time. You can open the chest for a chance to get rewards, including skill points, insurance points, neural compilers, and more stuff. And there were some people that were making bank, dude. As far as like rolling for those, I mean, they were getting implants out the ass, and it was it was pretty. Damn, I just realized how wrong what I just said was. Considering that there are some people that get implants out the ass. But anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
they were making a lot of they were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
They were making a lot of money on those things.
Yeah,
They were, yeah.
if you get really bad industrial penetration, you might need an implant to repair your ass. So, you know.
I'm gonna leave that to Amy to make a statement.
I know,
on
right?
that one. I don't have anything else to say about that, but there is lots of new content for those of us on the PvE side of things, and it's actually kind of relaxing to do some PvE when you have been when you've been like at war for a considerable amount of time, and it's like, okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna build these really massive ships. We're still gonna take our contracts, obviously. We're still gonna do PvP. There are some corporations from Void. I won't mention their names just yet. We'll save that for the state of the war. But who want to continue to war with us because they don't like the fact that we stole their citadels and stuff. And so, we do have some really cool content coming our ways, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all good fun, and I kind of look forward to spending a little bit of time with my corporation building these ships because we're going to be needing them if we're going to stay on the cutting edge of war technology. We're going to need them, and Yeah, absolutely. And Amy made the statement. I mean, I don't
And
mind skilling the faxes now that I don't have to train everything. Yeah, I agree with you. It's awesome.
and speaking of new content, they actually did something in the Concord path I found interesting. It's not just nanocores and things for nanocores now. They've actually put chips
I'm
have
sorry.
to get to
Really? Really?
things. Yeah, yeah. There are actually some skill chips in the Concord Pass store now.
Huh.
Um, so
I
that
didn't have
yeah,
time
you
to look
actually
at
have to
it.
get those, and yeah, and they are selling for bank. I mean, the cheapest one is actually selling because you can actually buy them from the Concord store and actually sell them. They're going 800 million. Some of the other ones are going multiple billion. Yes, value
There you go.
selling.
If you need to make
It does
money, that's how
it
you
does
do
take
it.
a yeah, it takes a substantial, the cheapest ones are like, in the range of normal nanocores, but I mean the most expensive, you have to have well over 100,000 Concord point actually purchase that skill chip. I think 144,000, I believe, is the the most expensive one. I can't look right now, but
Yeah, I hear you.
it's one of those things that it just they kind of things in sometimes, not paying attention, miss.
Well, I mean, most of us, if I know myself,
Oh,
I usually just like hit the button, to lock in the ones that I want, and then I basically just kind of like, almost it's I don't pay that much attention to it. Once I make sure that I have the ones that I usually complete really easily, I just set it and forget it, and then I pay the 1 million ISK, so I don't have to worry about resetting it later on. And I don't even really pay attention to it until it's time for me to click the button to claim everything. So you're right.
well, I
I'm gonna
just
miss
looked. The
that.
most expensive is 190,000 Concord points. The expert capital ship one, and there's a regular one, an advanced one, and an expert ship of two different skill sets. One for advanced for specialization module specialization with dead space modules, and then capital dead space modules, I believe. So that's serious stuff. But it looks like it's possible to research some capital time.
I mean, um, as far as I'm concerned, why not, right? And I feel like from an economical standpoint, things are really just kind of bad. From a personal standpoint, it's really bad because industry is still pretty much in the toilet. But I mean, for those of us that don't mind farming the ISK, can't really say that there is not content. That's all I can say.
And Devastat, the mentioned that skill chips give you level 0, though. They just unlocked the skill to able to put SP into it. It doesn't actually give you the skill. It's not like a neuro chip where it gives you level 5 in it and get the benefit of it. It's just unlocked. You can't unlock it. You can't pay ISP to unlock the skill. You have to get those skill chips done.
Well, I mean, at least it'll give people something to do in the game, right?
Well, this is true, but that sounds a little bit like more industrial penetration to
It
me.
is
I
more
don't.
industrial penetration. I mean, I'm I think we've talked about it until we've kind of already beat that horse to the point that not only is it dead, stinking with collapsed ribs, it's I'm just
Industrial
I don't
penetrated.
yeah, I mean, the first in the line of request, I believe that Nox asked for this one, the bird and the worm. Turn it up, check it out. Welcome to the Eve Echoes State of the War report. And I suppose that the big takeaway from this state of the war is that technically the war is over, kind of, anyways. And I, being a Brethren Court pilot, was involved in that one because, as you guys know, at this point, No and Burr formed up to create, well, I'm not sure we're calling ourselves Bro or if they're calling us Bruno or whatever because it's all been it's all been pretty interesting, to be completely honest. And this campaign, if I'm not mistaken, lasted somewhere around 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks at absolute max. And over the course of this period, when we went after Void, and it was a content war, and the goal, we had appreciable goals, and it was to steal their Tech 3 Citadels, or at least to steal a certain number of their Tech 3 Citadels. And once we hit our monetary goal, that would be enough for us, and we were going to pull out and leave, and leave them to rebuild and whatever else. And so somewhere somewhere I think at the peak of that, at within 1 week, we had set about 30 timers in their space, and and most of them were all hull timers, by the way. And so this became it it be, well, it led to some really epic battles. That much I can tell you. And all of these battles culminated to the battle that happened on last Friday in RERZ Tech L, where a 100, I believe, and 50-ish man Bruno fleet took on a 400 man, you know, adversary fleet. Now that was comprised of Void, OG, I believe TSC, Boop, Trimark, Fear, and Alondre. Am I missing anyone who was a part of this coalition? Because it was pretty fat, man.
I I think that that covers everybody.
Okay. I needed to make sure that I could
That's
cover.
that good chunk. That's a good chunk of the map there.
Yeah, but it was awesome. And like, before we even started, Tahini was like, "Well, boys, we're riding the Valhalla."
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
we
What what impressed me is that Void actually fielded like a half of that number, half of the whole fleet of that whole big force. Well, I've heard some people call it Vogue, and called the Burr no Bro. So it Bro versus Vogue. Catch you there. But
dude,
yeah, I according to my sources, Boyd fielded half of that number. That just, if you think about that, that's that's a powerhouse, right?
it was. I mean, let me put it this way: it doesn't matter what they had to do to get those numbers. It was a spectacle, and I really do believe that, with the exception of Silent, every organization, major organization in Eve, was a part of that battle. And
Well, technically they did third party it, so
I
it's like
mean,
they saw two people playing and they just kind of inserted themselves into the game there, but
well,
they technically they were involved even though they had no real stake in the game, so to speak, but they just saw a bunch at everybody and so they decided to go shit
well, I
both
mean,
sides.
they were in the
So
war. I don't think that they got involved in that final battle. They did get involved in the war, though. I mean, they kind of just, came around, poked, did some stuff. We saw Michael JD, we saw Mattarella, we saw them on grid, and most of the time they were just trying to pick off people and do some stuff. And to be fair, they did kill more bro pilots than they killed of like pack pilots. They did. It's just, but it was still really great content, and we opened negotiations with these corporations, I believe, on the later part of last week. And these negotiations were so that the corporations could potentially buy back citadels that were taken from them. Some of them, of course, did well. They did, you know, they pleaded amicably, and we worked out an arrangement for them to get their citadels back. Others decided that they did not want to pay, and there were some. One specific corporation tried to steal back a citadel, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, with some bombers, and and they got run off. So that was fun. And currently, there are some corporations who decided that they were going to drop their void tag to wage war with Burr, which is perfectly acceptable, and we welcome the content. And I believe those corporations are THN, TCF, SR71, DECA, LIU, and CNGY. So if I'm missing any of those void corporations, please forgive me. I don't mean to offend you or anything like that. Those are the ones that I know of indefinitely. They still want to fight with us, and they left. They left Void to do it. And so I really do admire those people for their tenacity in wanting to continue this war, while their allies have pretty much laid down arms across the entire thing, because we had the fight, it was fun, and after that, Tahini pretty much just said, well, that's pretty much the end of this war. So they gave us our content, we got our fight. For those of you guys that are Yu Yu Hakusho fans of, that anime from, like, I think the 90s or 2000s, this was kind of like that part where, like, Tagoro just really wanted that fight from Yusuke, wanted to see everything that he had, and then after that he pretty much just, just pretty much imploded himself. It was kind of like that. It was like, we came in, we fought, we got our fight, we got our content, we got our money. It's time to, it's time to leave. And if people want to keep on fighting us because they have a grudge, it's great. Yeah, they can bring content directly to our door. It had been getting kind of boring in burst space. People don't roam us that much anymore.
Yeah.
But those are some of the highlights from this particular war, and apparently brewing under it all, there are other war. Is there another war going on, Alondria? I mean, you keep your ear to the ground a lot more so than me. I just spent all my time in fleets, shooting Void,
Oh, yeah.
NOG.
Yeah. Actually, there's been a lot of explosions going on in Cache. Uh, the forces there in, yes, please, are having some problems. That portion, NoFap is a problem. Seems that ESEA and Void are declaring war on them. Yes, he actually got attacked and had one structure to Eimer by NoFap. They dropped some caps, citadels. They, yes, I did not like that, and so they put all of their structure Eimer. So apparently they're working with Void, because a huge Void fleet last night went up, helped reinforce the fact that are angry, and yeah, I understand they've got some whole timers.
I mean,
It,
but
it,
isn't
it
it
is
beautiful?
definitely some formal. It is definitely. It seems like Void has gone straight into another war. So I don't guess they. I hope they can find some time to enjoy some quality crabbing, but it's like that.
Industrial penetration.
Maybe the. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe they were tired of industrial penetration.
I
Maybe
mean,
maybe this recent war and the fact that they formed up big and strong and have shown that I look at a parallel between United States at the beginning of World War II. Had a strong military, but not ramped up.
I
But
mean,
I mean, look at what happened by the middle of the war and the end of that war. The military side had on a exponential scale,
yeah, I
and
agree.
and and was given the fact how big Boyd turned up in the last fight. I mean, that it seemed like that kind of ramp up. I mean, they put up silent level numbers
Yeah,
on
I was really impressed by it, to be completely honest with you. And
yeah.
Vetamune and I, because Vet is a pretty cool guy, and he's one of those pilots that you can have a conversation with, and he's not he's not the salty sort. So we talked a few times during the war, and I'm pretty sure that right now Vet is pretty happy about, like, how Void performed at the end of that. You know what I mean? I had to, when I heard that they had announced that they brought 250 pilots, I had to DM my intel person. I was like, "Can you confirm that they actually did bring 250. Like, they're not including other people. They're not including like OG. They're not including, some of their friends that came to help them. And I got a confirmation. Yeah, I can confirm they did bring 250 people. And I was like, oh my gosh, they've been holding on us this whole time.
Well,
They've been holding on us the
you know,
whole time.
they what they did is they really came together. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
just as an
brilliant.
alliance themselves. I mean, their allies made up the other half of the numbers of it, but the fact that they were the ones under attack, and everybody was one thinking they were going to fold, they were going to collapse under the pressure, but instead they formed up the kind of numbers that you need to fight somebody like Silent Federation. The, I mean, at the one of the big group that everybody fears. They have those kind of numbers. Nobody
Yeah, it's really
nobody
about using
knew.
them. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
as large an organization as Void, and not just Void either, OG as well, as large an organization as they are in terms of like, in terms of size. And I know that there's going to be someone who says in the Sound of Us, well, you can't gauge an organization based off of size alone because every organization has alts, and then of course you have the people that actually that are a little bit more hardcore than the others, and you have um, there's like all these different aspects that go into actually fielding numbers. OG and Void do have the ability to form these type of numbers. They have the personnel to do it. However, they need to have proper motivation, and I don't really understand this whole thing. It's a nasty habit, and I figured it out. I found it was like this in Pantheon. There are people, especially at the Care Bear level, who will start to give a damn when their citadel's the one under fire. But when their friends' citadels are being attacked, they don't care. That was the one thing that would irritate me to no end when I was an FC in Pantheon, dealing with the people who would only form up a defense like for their own pocket, or they would only do defense if their citadel was in danger or something. The whole reason why you have an alliance is because whenever you have something that is much bigger than yourself, you tackle it together. Heck, the better alliances out there, the ones that are a little bit more, that are more alliance based, like No. We worked with No during the last war, and No is a very alliance oriented group. You take someone like Dragon Viper, who has an alt in at least three different corporations in No, including Pew and HTP. And it's not just her; others do that as well. Rep does that, and he's alliance leadership. It's not required,
yeah,
but this is one of the ways that they manage to um, create a type of companionship with with these other corporations within their organizations. And so No is more of an alliance than individual corporations. Pew is very proud of what they do. They are full of FCs and hardcore PvP pilots, but at the end of the day, they'll tell you more than likely that they're No first and Pew second. And I think that that's a mentality that has really helped a lot. It's the same thing in Burr. Whenever a Burr capital ship gets tackled, dude, you can ping, and within 5 minutes, you've got like a 50-man fleet, to go and save that one capital ship, because it's about having the alliance mentality. And I really feel like when organizations start to get kind of big, they lose that mentality. It's unfortunate,
yeah,
but it's
they,
the natural.
yeah. It is along a certain line, but I'm sure everybody is aware. I'm pretty much, and so um, I can say, you know, what I see about Void, and what I see about Void, both from the looking from the outside as well as looking within. And I have to tell you, they have a very Wardian. Uh, I mean, they are very much. A lot of them are very much about line.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't think it's really. I don't think it's really opposite to to say that they prepared. hardcore for the defense tactics. The
They
their
did.
their
They
main
did.
citadel.
They
They
absolutely
really,
did.
really did.
And the thing about
And
it
I
is,
mean, and they formed they did it through very much personal connection. I think that's why were able to form up because they really did together uh, in a very much a very alliance first aspect. And I think it wasn't that. Yeah, I think it didn't go as well for them at the start because at the start the numbers were not as good for them at the start. They weren't really, I don't, prepared for the kind of onslaught and skilled opponent that they were facing. I think it was a lot like in World War II, United States got hit in Pearl Harbor. They weren't really ready, and got caught unawares, got caught with their pants. But in the end, they unleashed the power of the sun. So
well,
I mean,
I
you
love the
know,
term.
uh,
Release the power of the sun.
yeah,
An
I mean,
organization with the name Void, you say release the power of the sun.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they released the power of the sun. Please
yeah.
continue
Well, I mean,
releasing the power of
that,
the
that,
sun.
well, I mean, what did you say the numbers for the Bro Force, Bruno Force were? How many were formed up Friday night on that side?
Uh, it was it was good. It was fucking glorious to just be completely honest about it, and it was really impressive. And the thing is, they really, really, really wanted to go hard on that one. And for the record, I want to point out that during that time period when they were going so hard and trying to prepare for that, uh, it's like it, did they really did did they really farm up for anything else? And you got to ask your like, did they farm up for anything? They let timers go, I think, on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, possibly Monday night as well, so that so that they could really do that and not burn out their pilots. And to be fair, like Noah and Burr, this is what we do. This is what they do. They we didn't mind like not crabbing and not doing anything but PvP for that entire time. And so there were 24-hour fleets rolling. Um
Yeah,
so, it's just uh, I mean, Void really did do a good job considering what they were up against. Even though I disagree with the statements that we blobbed them, we didn't, by the way. Uh, in total numbers, they actually were able to form up just by themselves. They were able to form up, I think, 100 more than the biggest bro fleet. So no, blobbing. If anyone sells you the propaganda that Void was blobbed, they weren't blobbed. They were simply, uh, they were just simply under siege all the time. And if you're not
yeah.
used to PvPing at that level, if you're not used to having people in your space, if you're not used to going, well, I can't mine and I can't rat right now. I'm going to I'm going to go out there and fight instead, then you run into that situation. But they didn't answer back on Friday night, and it was a fight that I had to be a part of. I had a gig Friday night, and Dre Quiller, I literally bagged myself down as Logi anchor, and I think Dre took it, and so I'm like, okay, I can manage this. So I literally uh, took my iPad and my phone. I got in a car because I have to drive at least 50 minutes to get to my gig on Friday nights. And while we are traveling, while we're jumping from gate to gate to get to the system, I'm driving to get to I'm driving to get to my gig. I fought half that battle from the parking lot and the other half from inside the venue while I was setting up.
Oh my.
Yeah. Hey, look, that was a battle I was not going to not be in. I was not going to not make that battle. I'm sorry. I was making that battle, and it was just that important. It's just the way that it is. when you are, when you do this kind of thing and when you enjoy this kind of content. I was not making that battle, and it's just what it was, man. I mean, at first I thought I wasn't gonna log in at all, but I was making that battle, and it was glorious. So I offer up congratulations to Void on a wonderful defense. They did a great job, and they really did put in some numbers. And for a lot of people, like what Alondria was saying earlier in the conversation, a lot of people kind of get a fire lit under their rear ends when they are under fire like that. I believe that Casper made an address to the OG Empire concerning their form up and how and why they should take it seriously. And for organizations, when you get hit like that, sometimes it's a wake up call and they start to take it more seriously and they want to actually do more stuff. So here's hoping that Void actually learned from it, because we did not go in with an intention of destroying Void. Even when one of their pilots on Friday night was sitting there and he was talking to me and he was like, emphasizing the points that, if we do this, we take people out of the game and this and this and this. And then finally, after he typed me an entire novel, I sent him back in PM. Dude, we're actually not trying to we're not trying to take your citadel. Like the FCs, you should have heard the comms. Meliodas, Tahini, when they heard that, oh, by the way, we're at this with the timer, we really won't be able to hold it. They was like, we don't care. That was the attitude in the comms during that last battle. So we really weren't even after their citadels. We really were after the content, and they gave us content, and so we stopped pursuing their stuff. But on top of that, as an added benefit, we're going to punish any corporations that leave Void because for defecting. So don't do it, guys. Just just don't do it. We are going to punish them for leaving if they try to bail on their organization for that purpose, because the purpose was not to destroy Void. If we wanted to destroy Void, believe me when I tell you, they would know that they were under attack in and being and being trounced, but we weren't after him. So I mean, it was good content all around. We do have respect for Void, and they are, yes. The Oh, by the way, one thing we found out from this entire campaign is that both No and Burr, when put together, are oversexed teenagers with huge moral issues, and that's the takeaway from this last war as far as I'm concerned. Other than lighting a fire under Void. Just saying. I mean, we do have some amazing content up ahead between what we are getting from the game itself, as well as plenty of opportunities for more things. I see in the Sound of Us right now. Apparently, uh, okay, so apparently, there's some kind of conversation over my sister's hand in marriage, and okay, yeah, we already know that Void is yeah, we know TSC just went over to help out Void, and it's fine, it's great. Big shout out to the Space Cows. I believe we had Stony Sluts on the show on yesterday. At least we tried to. Stony was a little bit busy and had to leave, but I do know that for next week's show, we're going to be talking to some guests, try to get some people in who can give us a different perspective, the other perspective on the war. I know Vetamune is usually a bit busy on Sundays, so it makes sitting and talking to Vet a little bit challenging. Maybe the other members of Void might want to give us something of a statement, specifically Void leadership. It would be great. We haven't had them on the show yet, and it's something that we really do want to have on the show. People who can represent all of the different content organizations. On the subject of content creators, want to give a big shout out to Ashiv, who is no longer a space cow, not because he doesn't like being a side of beef, but rather because he's actually a member of the Void Federation now. So it's interesting. Right after a war, they pick up one mother of a content creator. She is a not even a rising star. He just is a star. Really awesome guy, and you guys could not have picked up a better content creator to add to the fold. And of course, big shout out to Rambo, who is in the audience on today. Echoes of New Eden, which is his podcast alongside with Taylor Rick. So if you have not been going over there and you haven't been catching it, like me in the case of not catching it, because I normally just sit out and do more PvP things, because what can I say? War is like that. Then head on over to the Echoes of New Eden. You can catch it every Thursday night. It's a little bit late on the US vector scale, I suppose, depending on where you are in the country. I believe it's like 9 p.m. Central Time, if not 10. But it's great content and it is great fun. So get out there, support one of our fellow content creators. But Landria, do you have anything else that you would like to point out as we wrap up today's show?
Uh, no, I think that pretty much covers every. Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of rare for me to say this because lately NetEase has really been frustrating me a whole lot. I'm not kidding. They have really been frustrating me with some of these decisions they've been making, but I can honestly say that at this point, like at this present moment, it's more it would be I would be happier to go and just like let's just go and do the content, play the game, build new war machines, and wait for the next war. Already, I'm thinking like, okay, when is our next war going to be? But I don't want to jump the gun too fast because we need to build stuff, right? We do need to build. We need to build more ships.
yeah,
Yep.
everybody does. I think it's right now is a time of building and getting things ready for new content that has been unlocked.
Mhm.
Uh, so that everybody wants jump raiders packs. People are still trying to get carriers, dreads. A lot
That
of building.
depends. I mean, wait. Most of the carrier organizations have plenty of carriers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they need to get into dread. And people who got into dread, they may need some Care Bear carriers. I mean, everybody some.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm quite happy as a dread pilot, especially after that showdown that we had a couple of weeks ago. That was, jeez, man, that was absolutely, it was epic. That was the best moment of the entire war, at least for me. It was 9 bird dreads versus no, not even 9 bird dreads. It was burr, and we had some no dreads in there as well, and we were fighting off this huge swath. It was literally like the Battle of 300, like just the 9 of us against just like 300 pack subcaps. It was amazing. It was glorious. And if you haven't seen the video of that, do check it out. I think that it's already posted in the New Eden videos, but that was my fondest war memory. And to be honest with you, that right there made me actually want to keep on being a dread pilot. So I will leave the force auxiliary stuff to my carrier pilots who want to volunteer for it, and to those who are already kind of like on that road. And I'm just gonna continue to skill into dreads, I guess, until Titans finally drop, and then I suppose I have something else I need to skill into. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure enough.
But I think that that is a show for today, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Get in there, go in the game. I'm already in the game. I'm sitting in my dreadnought. Go figure, and get some content and have some fun. Love, hugs, and kisses. Alondra, you want to finish this one since you're apparently a Boop executor?
Yeah, yeah. As discovered in the Gulag, apparently I'm a
Mm-hmm.
CEO over there somewhere in the Boop organization,
Okay,
so
there you
I
go.
am contractually obligated to Boop in local,
Mm.
but I also now do local as
Yeah.
well too. So
Wait, you
I
also
will do
what?
both.
You also what?
I DC on
You
local.
know, on that subject, before we go, like you have been doing some things. Like, what is this thing about you building a massive community of peoples?
Oh, I one of the executors of the Disconnected Coalition. We're currently five like
Oh,
growing and
okay.
working together and building each other up, and then having a lot of fun. So you know, there's new things to do in the game and new fun had. Just have to sometimes be willing to take a dive and make it that leap, have some fun. So that's what we're doing.
Great. Well, it's great to have more communities flourishing and coming up in the game. And all I can say is congratulations. I look forward to, I guess, the interview where we interview you and some of your other members of your organization, and we can hear about what it is you are doing in the game.
Sure, I think we can arrange that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Next week we get more people, so that we can get a few more perspectives on the war, and hopefully by then people that have gotten a chance to test out the new content, and we can have a more of a report for you because it really was a pretty fat content patch, like an early Christmas gift. Uh, Leaving you with "Breaking Out of Hell" by Airborne. Turn it up, check it out. See you next week.